Hi, Mark. Good to see you again.
Hey Louis, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Hope you had a nice Christmas
Yeah, you too.
um, and a very nice Boxing Day, judging by the result. I guess we'll start with it's a quick turnaround, is it, from last night? You just over 12 hours ago, you were talking to Oggy about the Rotherham game, but your reflections on those last couple of games.
Yeah, listen, I think it's been a tough period for us, like running into the World Cup break, playing teams that were all on that top end of the table. And we also know Rotherham are a very well organised team, and they're aggressive. They've got a good set of players there that work hard for each other. So it was very pleasing to come away with 3 points.
And in doing so, you lifted off the bottom of the table, given results elsewhere also, Mark. Psychologically going forward, what can that do for the group of players?
Listen, the group really got a big belief in each other. There's a real team spirit and togetherness there that you could see, which is clearly evident. And a lot of other managers have been commenting on how much clarity we've got in our game. We're very hard to break down. We're a strong, aggressive team. We've got a lot of power in the legs. And the group's working hard day in, day out, and they've just got to continue that.
Yeah, and it's going to get tougher, isn't it? Just a couple of days break in between that before you welcome Luton to the John Smiths. We've spoken before, haven't we, about not dwelling on when results aren't going your way. But I guess in this moment of time, it's important not to get too high, given there's a game just around the corner.
Yeah, that's the way I've always been learnt, like you never get too high when you're winning and you're never too low when you're losing. You just focus on what you can affect, and that's going about your business well in training and bringing a good performance there on a match day, and the lads have been doing that recently, so we're very satisfied with them, but they've got to continue, show that same energy and drive that they have, and we'll move it forward into the Luton game now, which is coming fast.
And for you, it must be strange in a way, Mark, because when you came in, you inherited a squad with a lot of injuries, suspensions, things like that. You now have a lot of players coming back. Do you feel that now you're getting to this position, you're really being able to put your identity on that Huddersfield Town team?
I think it's clear to see the identity there. We're very privileged that we were able to do an amazing training camp out in Marbella, which the club was amazing with us and backed us and enabled us to go out there and work really hard as a group. And slowly but surely, we're getting more of the experienced players back in the group. And I know the players have been commenting on it as well. It's looking a more rounded group.
Aggression as well is something you've spoken about. You want your teams to be aggressive on the front foot. That's certainly something we've seen on both Boxing Day and last night, Mark.
Yeah, I think it's important that we continue that. I mean, there was a lot of good individual performances there as well, and there has been in the past weeks. When we talk about aggressiveness, we also mean as a staff that we want to be aggressive in the manner which we shift the ball around. And you could see that in recent weeks our possession stats are getting very high as well. And we're not a team at the bottom of the league that's just kicking long, hopeful balls. We're trying to play in the right areas, but not pass it for the sake of passing it. And we're really looking like we're building a lot of confidence and momentum now.
Possession base and aggression. What else is a recipe for a Mark Fotheringham side?
Listen, as I said, I'm really proud to work for this club. I keep saying we've got the best fans in the league. There's no doubt about that. And when they get behind us the way they have done at the recent home games, it's incredible what the guys will do. These lads will run through brick walls for their fans, and it means the world to them to play for Huddersfield Town as well. So it's a really nice mix and a good ingredients moving forward as a group.
A couple of players I just want to touch on, Mark. When I last spoke to you, we had a conversation about Dwayne Holmes, didn't we? Well, he's come back into the side, applied himself really well, and got a goal last night. Just how impressed have you been with Dwayne over the last couple of weeks? Given, like you said, you left him out for that Watford game, and it was a tricky decision, wasn't it?
It wasn't a tricky decision, no. I always analyse the squad without emotion, and all I want to bring is a freshness to the group, and that's why you have a squad as a head coach. And it's been unfortunate for me and my staff. We've not had a squad, and we've had to introduce a lot of young players that have benefited from the experience, but are absolutely not at a level where they should have been utilised as much probably as what they have been in their development, but certainly not done them any harm. In regards to Dwayne, he's got a real individual class when he comes in the last third, and he's a match winner, and he's just got to continue in the vein of form he's in, and I'm very pleased for him.
Kane Kessler-Hayden as well coming back into the team, and he's made an impact over the last couple of games.
Yeah, Kane's a very professional boy. He shows great energy and attitude to training every day, whether he's starting or he's on the bench, or even when he's left out the squad. He's a very disciplined lad, and what I really admire about him is that he plays with a smile on his face, and he's got a real freedom, and I've explained to him that I just like the way he's playing, and I want him to keep expressing himself and showing that great personality that he has.
And Jordan Rhodes also back amongst the goals. When we've spoken to Jordan in recent weeks, that's been at the forefront of his mind, getting back involved with the goals. That must be really pleasing to see him firing again.
Yeah, it just sums him up as a man. He puts real demands on himself every day in training. His professionalism, the levels are actually through the roof. And he's a real credit to himself and his family for that, because he constantly puts strain on himself to do the best he can, and it really means the world to him to play for this great club. And I'm really enjoying working with Jordan, and I have done the whole period that I've been here, and I just hope that we could build that further now moving to the future.
Yeah, does it help? Obviously, we know Jordan's history and association with the club. Does it help you that you've come into Huddersfield Town and there is a figure like Jordan and like Hoggy who know what it's all about to play for Huddersfield Town and to represent the club?
I think it's always important to have these key players, you know, that the club can identify with, and especially for the younger ones, because they could share their experience with them and share what it's about to play and be successful for a club of this stature. What I would say as well, in terms of our forward players, they've been working so hard the whole time, and it's like other clubs in the league as well, that they have certain lulls where they're probably not as prolific as what they have been or can be. But as I said, just absolutely relentless in the training, that puts big demands on himself, and he's got a real mental capacity to do well for this squad, whether he's starting or coming off the bench. And he's been a part of it for the whole period that I've been here, and I'm very grateful to have that calibre of player in the building.
I just want to ask you, going forward, I'm not going to ask you about transfers in January specifically. I just want to pick up on something you mentioned to Oggy about Scott High returning to the club and how that's, you know, in Lee Bromby's hands, and, you know, he'll make those decisions. I want to go back to your time in Germany. Is that a way you're used to working, Mark, whereas you have the head of football operations who will sort all that side and then come to you, or is this way of working new to you?
No, it's absolutely something that I've been used to. And it's a great fit for me, because when I was in Ingolstadt, I had two amazing sport directors, and my first period was a man called Thomas Linke, who was very important for me as a young coach. And Thomas Linke is one of the best Bayern defenders, and he's one of the best German defenders ever. And to have that type of calibre in the building with his experience was amazing. Then I had Michel Henke, who was a Champions League winner and Otmar Hitzfeld's assistant. So you actually had a coach there and someone who was able to direct the club and take a lot of the responsibility and workload in terms of recruitment and looking after the areas. And then, of course, Freddie Bobic. Freddie Bobic, for me, is the best sport director in the world, and I'm so grateful that I have him there in the background, and he's always there if I need him on the call. And you could see what he did at Eintracht Frankfurt when there was over 200 or 300 million pounds worth of players that went, you know, Jovic to Real Madrid and so on. So that's the type of people who've been around it. I'm absolutely used to the way they work. And as I said, this is Lee's domain, and Lee does a great job here, and he'll continue to do it, to strive to get the best for this club. Yeah,
it's just fascinating hearing how it works, that's all. I just take it you're in constant communication though with Lee, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm constant communication with Lee. Lee's office is actually next door to mine, so we spend a lot of time together. And he's been a great support for me during this whole period, and we just need to continue and keep looking to move the club upwards and onwards.
On to New Year's Day and the visit of Luton Town, and I know it's only yesterday you played, as we touched on, but any initial injury or team news concerns going forward, Mark?
Nothing too serious, to be honest with you. We'll assess that as we go. Just had a slight issue with Ben Jackson and Brahima Diarra, which was unfortunate, and they picked up like maybe a bugs. And we know this time of the year with the weather change that there's a hell of a lot of bugs and stuff going around, and we just need to try and be professional and make sure that when we're going from the training centre to the cars, you know, they're young players. I want them to be well wrapped up with their jackets and things like that. Sometimes you could see with them that they think it's more of a fashion issue and stuff, but at the end of the day, we're professional. These guys are professional athletes, and they're getting paid a lot of money to make sure they're at the optimal levels. So we're just trying to drive the standards with that continuously.
Those two individuals, the bug you mentioned, would that rule them out for New Year's Day, or is it too early to say?
I think it's too early to say, you know.
Okay.
We'll just assess it as we go now.
Brilliant. Luton Town, the opponents, got to know Huddersfield Town quite well last season, playoff opponents, as I'm sure you're well aware. Two impressive wins for them coming off the back of this break. What have you made to their season so far?
I just think they're very similar to like your Prestons and so on, that they're a very settled side. They know exactly what they're about, and they're very well organised, and we're really looking forward to this challenge to face them.
Rob Edwards' success with Forest Green Rovers last season, already been at Watford this season, now at Luton. Is he someone you've come across in your career at all, Mark?
What I would say, not really, to be honest. And I'm learning about all the managers and so on in the league. But it always comes back to us, you know. I focus on what we're doing, and that was a lot of the way I worked out in Germany as well. And it was always nice to go up against your Marco Rosas and these people, but at the end of the day, it was all about what we were doing and what we focus on. And it's a great challenge, our league. You know, there's many good managers, experienced and younger ones, and they're all striving to do the best for their club. And it's an exciting league to be a part of.
Well, best of luck for Sunday. It is Sunday, isn't it? Lost track of the days. Happy New Year to you and your family as well, Mark. Thanks for your time.
Happy New Year. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Matty, we'll come to you.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, Matty.
Just a little bit, obviously, on Matty Pearson. He's been back in training lately. How big of a boost is that? But also, how important is it to manage his game time coming back after such a long time out?
Yeah, Matty's massive for the club. Very important figure. Plays with real desire and determination, and he's a very powerful boy, and he likes to go and really defend everything the way I like to see defenders do their job. And we just got to make sure that we integrate him back into the squad in the right manner and look after him, which we're doing.
You named, obviously, an unchanged 11 last time out, and it's coincided with back-to-back wins. Do you think that played a major part for you?
No, not at all. You know, of course you would like to play a consistently unchanged side, you know, and unfortunately everybody knows, because it's well documented, the horrific injury list that I inherited since I've come in the building. And what I would also point out is that I'm still missing some very important players. I mean, Ollie Turton's an absolute starter when he's back, Matty the same. And when you discuss young players like Pat Jones that have went and single-handedly took teams apart this season, I've not even had them for 1 minute. So I'm really looking forward to introducing these guys slowly but surely back into the squad. And as I said, it's also good for the players themselves, because they see that the group's becoming more rounded.
I mean, just going back to the back-to-back wins, I mean, it's a massive platform for yourselves now, isn't it? I mean, you look at the nature of the championship. There's only a few points separating the bottom few teams, but there's also only a few points separating the playoff teams. So if you put together a run of results, it can really change sort of the dynamic of your season, can't it?
I just explained to the lads yesterday that I think there was a stat or something come up on Sky Sports on the way to the game about our great club not being able to beat Preston, and I think it was over, Dave, was it 30 years maybe? 53 years, and I just looked at it as I was travelling myself, and the way I am as a head coach is that I never rest on my laurels. I always strive to get better and drive these players, and I think us as a group, we just realised that it's just another barrier, you know. It's a barrier that you need to break down, and that's what football's about. You've got to go and break these barriers down and make things happen, and we did that at Preston. And in regards to the back-to-back wins, we broke the barrier down. We actually crashed the barrier down, and we got a great win in front of our fantastic fans. at our home stadium, and we're just looking to build momentum now. And as I keep pointing out, and I know it's very boring, but we just keep ourselves calm, you know. We don't get too ahead of ourselves because we know the nature of the beast in this league.
I mean, Luton as well, as you touched on up next. I mean, where do you expect their sort of main threats to come from? They've got Carlton Morris, who's quite well known in this division. I mean, how do you plan on stopping him?
Yeah, listen, they've got a very settled side, you know, and as I said, me and my staff will analyse the opposition and be very thorough in what we do, especially now that the games are coming fast and thick and fast. And I would say that they would have to concentrate on stopping our really good players in the front line as opposed to us stopping them. But as I said, the way I am is that I always respect the opposition because I know that it's a very strong league. And a lot of the teams have got a lot of creativity and players in the final third that could cause danger to anyone. So we respect them, and we know they've got a lot of good players in that area of the pitch.
And then just the final one from me, Mark. I mean, what are your hopes and expectations for 2023? I mean, I think everybody knows the obvious one would be staying up at this stage. But I mean, like I said, if you put together a run of results, anything's possible, isn't it?
All I want to do is just keep working hard with this group to improve them, to build a team spirit, which we have at the moment, which is clearly evident. Not get too ahead of ourselves and show humility, and just be thankful for this great opportunity we've got to be involved at this great club, and continue to strive to improve with each other and moving forward, you know, and as I said, there's a real attitude there to everything that we're doing at the moment, and as a head coach, it makes you very satisfied.
Thanks very much, Mark. All the best.
Thank you very much.
Louis, Matty, thank you, chaps. Happy New Year.
Cheers, Happy New Year.
Cheers, David.
Add it up.